Hi, this is Miss Nicholas. Welcome to Anatomy 2 Online. I wanted to take a few minutes to go over some of the features in your Blackboard course with you so that you'll be ready to get started. One of the first things that you need to do is to go here to the Blackboard Student Orientation, go through that little program, and it will help you to learn how to navigate through some of the features of Blackboard. When you're done, you'll get a completion certificate that shows that you have completed the orientation course. If you click here, once you receive that, you'll be able to upload it. So you'll receive a digital copy of it, of course, save it to your computer, and upload it there. When you first log on to the course, you'll come to the home page and you will see any announcements. So several things here. I do recommend that you use Chrome as your browser. It does seem to communicate better with Mastering A&P, which we'll talk more about in just a little bit. But also here is a welcome for you with just some basic information about the course. A lot of this is also included in your syllabus. So this gives you the information about your first couple of assignments that are due and how you can go into the discussion board and tell me a little bit of, or tell me in the class a little bit about yourself and get a couple of free points by doing so. Information about Mastering A&P, and if you have any questions, of course, let me know. All right, so most of this is going to be covered in the syllabus and also in this little recording that we're going to do to go through here. So I will move on. So you've got some information here telling you what to do if you would like to go for tutoring, how to set up your voicemail, and some additional information. All right, anytime I post a new announcement, it will show up at the top of the announcement page. I typically also have those sent as emails so that you do get those. That does bring up an important point. You guys are taking an online course, so you do need to check your Calhoun email frequently. That is going to be how I communicate with you. All right, so if you click next into course information, you're right, it's going to give you some course information. All right, so there's my email address and phone number to my office. The college policies and procedures goes into some of the details that the college expects from you as students. So you will pull up a PDF form that talks about attendance in an online course, what constitutes excused absences, and how to process administrative withdrawals. Some information about attendance with hybrid and distance education classes, the withdrawal policy, disabilities, student code of conduct, communication, yada, yada, yada. All right, I know you guys can read. So back into course information, let's see if there's anything else in here we need to look at. The communication policy simply tells you what I expect from you in communication with me and with your classmates and what you should expect as well. In the expectations folder, excuse me, expectations folder, well, it seems that link's not working. I'll have to go back in and load that. But the expectations folder just has a little bit more information in there. Once I get it to show, that will tell you that you should expect me to have your grades posted within 5 days of taking exams and to respond to your emails within 24 to 36 hours. If it is an urgent email, you might want to try to call my office or email me twice. Sometimes I get in classes and I check my emails between classes and forget that I need to come back and talk to you. So be sure and not hesitate if you need to get back in touch with me. My expectations for you, I expect you to access the content frequently. It's a summer semester. There's a lot going on in the summer semester very quickly. So we do cover content very rapidly, and you will also be testing very quickly as well. So I expect you to stay on top of the content and to access it every time you get a chance. The more times you go into the content, the more likely you are to do well in that content. I also expect you to let me know if you're having difficulty. I can't help you if I don't know that you're having problems. Again, you're in an online class, so I don't see you on a weekly basis to know that you're having issues understanding a particular area of content. So don't hesitate to let me know if I can help you to be more successful. All right, back to course content and just a list of the course level objectives. I know, again, you guys can read, but we do expect you to learn a good bit in this course. and this gives you an overview of that. All right, back to the top here. When you click into Syllabus and Quiz, you will open your syllabus, read through that syllabus, and then take a quiz on the information in that syllabus. This quiz is one of the things that you have to do in order to be counted present for the first week of classes. So when you open the syllabus, that is going to bring up the PDF file that will tell you about the course, the expectations, and what is required of you as a student. So you must complete the syllabus quiz, as I said, and there's also an Intro to Mastering A&P assignment that will be due by noon on May the 26th. This will count as your attendance for the first week of class. Now, I want to draw your attention to this big section right here. You notice there are big bold letters and it's in red. This course does not require that you attend regularly scheduled class meetings. However, exams must be taken either in the College Testing Center, or you can test from home, from work, from wherever, using Respondus Lockdown Browser with Monitor. Respondus Lockdown Browser will lock your browser screen so that you can't access other web pages, but it is also used in conjunction with a webcam that you must have on your computer. The webcam will record you while you're testing. It will also flag you if you leave the room, if anyone else comes in, or if you look away from the screen on multiple occasions. For instance, if you have something lying beside you on your desk and you look over at that, it will flag you each time that you do so. There's a link here that will take you to the Student Resources page. This, of course, is going to give you access to download the Respondus Lockdown Browser and many other resources for our students here at Calhoun. The course for this text is the 11th edition of Human Anatomy and Physiology by Elaine Merribb. The textbook is a good study resource. However, I'm going to test you on the content that I teach you in our video content. The textbook is the required text, but obviously you're not going to be on campus, so I'm not going to be looking to see if you have a textbook with you. However, again, it is a good study tool, and what I recommend for most of my online students is that you purchase the e-text so that you have a digital copy of that textbook, but in addition to that, you also get access, you purchase access to the Mastering A&P. We'll talk about that in just a couple of bullets. There's a lab guide that you can purchase that will have a list of the things that are going to be covered in lab videos where that content is applicable for videos. The lab manual, again, is something you can purchase or not purchase. I'm not going to be asking you to submit pages from a lab manual or lab guide. It simply has sections where each of the things that I will ask you to identify on your practical, or I'm sorry, on your exams will be covered. You'll have PowerPoint notes in each of your units of content that will match your lecture content. So as you are watching the videos that I have in YouTube that will cover your lecture, have your PowerPoints printed so that you can take notes as you are watching those videos. The test is not going to consist of simply what is printed on the PowerPoint. Just like if I were in the classroom, I use the PowerPoints as my note points from which I discuss the topics. So you will need to take notes as you watch those. And again, the PowerPoints will be available for you to print in each one of the units. You must have access to Mastering A&P. So you purchase a code when you purchase your textbook. If you purchase one for your Anatomy 2 class or Anatomy 1 class, unless it's been several semesters since you took that, your Mastering A&P course code should still be active. So you just simply have to log in. You will need to access Mastering A&P through the link here in Blackboard. And when I go back out, I'll show you that. That will take you directly to my course. You don't need this instructor code if you go directly from Blackboard. So accessing is much easier going through Blackboard than going to the Mastering A&P website. Also, I remind you again to use Chrome, especially when you are working on your Mastering A&P homework and other study tools. Internet Explorer does not work well with mastering. So here's a link where you can download Chrome if you don't have Chrome as your browser. Again, it is very compatible with mastering AMP and also with the testing that you will be doing. Instructional methods, as I mentioned, you're not coming to my classroom, so I'm going to instruct you on the content through YouTube videos. I break these down into small content areas rather than doing an entire chapter at a time. It's difficult for you to focus, and it's difficult for anyone to learn those big chunks of content. So I try to break each chapter into logical areas so that it does chunk that information into smaller pieces for you. So Unit 1, lecture videos, the homework, and everything will be available first day of class. Unit 1, I break into Unit 1A and Unit 1B because it was such a big unit when we taught it together. So your Unit 1A will open first day of class. You'll have access to the links for all of the videos. You'll have the PowerPoints that you can print, and all of the homework for Unit 1A will be open as well. The other units will open about a week and a half after each other. That will give you time to work through the content and focus on each individual unit before you start looking at the upcoming content. So you finish each unit of content, you take your exam, you do your homework before your exam, and then you're ready to move to the new unit of material. If you don't have access to a home computer, of course you can watch YouTube videos from any device that you can get a good internet connection on. There are many computers that are available on campus for our students. There are additional required instructional materials and homework that you'll access through Blackboard and Mastering AMP, so it is highly recommended that you do have a good home computer and that you have a stable internet connection. Your computer crashing, loss of a signal, anything that goes wrong with your computer is not an excuse for missing your exam or being unable to complete your exam. If you know that you don't have a stable internet connection, your Wi-Fi is sort of sketchy, go somewhere where you can install Respondus Lockdown browser and have access to a webcam with a stable internet connection. All right, something else I wanted to bring up here while we're talking about methods of instruction and we're talking about technology. Don't try to take an exam or do your Mastering AMP homework on your phone. A good rule of thumb is if it's to be graded, do it on a computer. You're much more likely to be successful in it. It's much easier for you to see things that may have images if you're looking at a full screen, and also any text that may be a part of images are easier to see on those larger screens as well. All right, so the testing centers are available to you to take your exams. If you don't have Respondus Lockdown browser with webcam, you don't have a home computer, or if you just feel unsure about testing at home with the webcam, you are welcome to come and test in any of the testing centers on the Huntsville or Decatur campus. You will need to call them and make an appointment so that you do have a time for your test and you know that you will be able to get in on those days. I don't recommend that you wait to the last minute and try to get an appointment on the day the test is due. Yeah, everybody does it, right? So limited computers in the testing center. If the testing center closes before you can get in and get on a computer, you've missed your test date. All right, there will be links, as I mentioned, to the lecture content that will be on YouTube. So it's in my YouTube channel that's simply titled my name, Nisha Nicholas. There are AMP1 videos in there in one section, AMP2 videos in another section. But I will link each unit directly to the playlist for that particular section of content. All right, so your assignments will consist of Mastering AMP homework for each chapter. In Mastering AMP, these homeworks are called tutorials. For instance, Chapter 16 doesn't have Chapter 16 homework. It says Chapter 16 tutorial. When you open your Mastering AMP, more than likely you will see a calendar, and that calendar will have those Mastering AMP assignments on the due dates so that you're always aware of what those dates are. The dates for your due dates on your homework are going to be midnight the night before the day of your exam. So if your exam is on Wednesday, then at 11:59 on Tuesday is the deadline for your homework. I don't recommend that you wait until the day before your homework to complete these, because these homework assignments are there for you to engage with the content and to learn some of what you might have missed when you were going through your notes. So it gives you a different way to look at things. So use these wisely, and when you finish a particular chapter, do the homework for that chapter. You're reinforcing that content. If you need additional assistance with the content, you should first ask me as your instructor. Let me try to help you. But also I encourage you to visit the link for tutor.com so that you can schedule an appointment for the tutoring centers on our college's 2 main campuses. All right, so how are you going to get graded? Well, each unit is going to have an exam. So units 1A, 1B, 2, and 3 will all be the exams will all be of equal weight, and they'll comprise 65% of your grade. Exam 4 is your final exam. It is not comprehensive. It only covers the content in exam 4, and that is worth 200% because it's a little bit longer exam, covers a little bit more content. So your exams total 85% of your grade for the course, and the remaining 15% will be your cumulative grade from all of your Mastering A&P homework. So at the end of the semester, I will take your Mastering A&P grade. If you finish with 97%, I bring 97% into the grade book, and then 15%, your Mastering average will count as 15% of your total grade. All right, let's see. Grading scale, straightforward, 90 to 100% gets you an A, 70 to 79 gets you a C. Here you have a topic outline of the major topics that we will cover in each of the units, as well as course level student outcomes. These are the same ones that you saw just a few minutes ago when we were looking in Blackboard. There is a calendar at the end of this syllabus that reflects all your due dates. I recommend that you print that and put it somewhere so that you have access to it. Take a picture of it, keep it in your phone. That way you've always got access to those due dates. Your final exam is due no later than noon on Tuesday, July the 30th. You may take it before the due date, but you may not take it after. So there are no make-up exams, and homework may not be made up either. In this online course, you do your homework when you're ready to do your homework, right? As long as you hit the deadline. You take your test on the day that you're ready to take the test, as long as you make the deadline. So you can have a period of time that you're going to be able to do your homework and to take your test. So there are no excuses unless it is an extreme and documented circumstance that you will be granted an extension. This is at my discretion, and I will ask you to validate those excuses if something happens. So the attendance policy, so the only time that you can drop and add courses will be the first 2 days of classes, which will be May the 22nd and May the 23rd. After that, there is one remaining date, and that is July the 16th. So by July the 16th, you must withdraw from the course if you wish to withdraw. Now, you cannot add another course. Drop and add is only that 2-day period. But you can withdraw from the course anytime until July the 16th. After July the 16th, I have to give you the grade that you earned for the class, which will include a 0 for all missed assignments. The next section talks a little bit about email. I do want you to email me from your Calhoun email, either through Outlook, which you have access to as your Calhoun email, or through Blackboard. This ensures that I have your entire name and that I can relate you to the correct class that I'm teaching. I do expect you to communicate properly and professionally. Don't use text grammar. Don't use slang. I am your instructor, so communicate in a professional academic manner. And be sure at the end of your email to put your name, just in case I have 2 Joe Smiths, okay? I have your information for your class, and I have your name. All right, so here's more information that is also stated in the college policy about absences, administrative withdrawal. Here I have the information about the testing centers. Remember, if you wish to test in the testing centers, you need to give them notice. They will have the password to enter the exams. So you can only access the exams if a proctor enters the password, or if you are using Respondus Lockdown Browser with Monitor. if you try to access without using the webcam or anywhere that is outside of the testing centers, it will ask you for a password and you will not be able to access that. So here are the guidelines for the testing center. You must have an ID. You need to know my name and what class you're in. The exams are timed. At the end of that time period, you will be asked to complete your exam and to leave the testing center. Because these are timed in Blackboard, not just in the testing center, it will shut down at the end of that time period as well. So here's your calendar. So you can see that classes begin on the 22nd. Drop and add is the first 2 days. Your syllabus quiz and your intro to mastering assignment is due by May the 26th at noon. The intro to mastering assignment is not content based. It simply takes you into mastering A&P and shows you a little bit about navigation. Your mastering homework is due on June the 4th. Your exam is due on June the 5th. So you'll see as you go through the calendar, there is an exam about every 2 weeks that keeps you in line to complete this course in the 10 weeks that we have for the semester. In addition, other dates that you need to be aware of: the college will be closed on Monday, May the 27th for Memorial Day, and on Thursday, July the 4th for Independence Day. You can work ahead once a unit opens. If you find the content comes to you very easily and you understand it and you're ready, you've done your studying, you can take the test early once that unit of content opens. However, you cannot test after the deadline. All right, so I do encourage you to go back through the syllabus, read every word of it, take the syllabus quiz. It's a very easy quiz, but you do need to have read through that syllabus to make sure that you're prepared for it. Here you have a link that tells you about the textbooks. Here you have a Getting Started, which is going to take you through some of the things that we've covered here in this particular video. You can access your grades, and here you click for Calhoun email. So you can email directly from Blackboard. Here's a link to email your instructor, here to email all students in the course. Now, of course, you are seeing my view of everything, so it may look a little bit different. Yours is going to have the same content, but arranged a little bit differently with a little bit different view. Of course, I've got instructor access and you won't have. So you won't be able to build content, right? Okay, so here's the link for student resources and for tutor.com if you need to schedule tutoring. Here you will find your content and exams. Here's a link for Mastering A&P. I'll take you quickly through Mastering A&P so you know what to expect. So this reminds you, use Google. When you click into Mastering A&P, if you don't already have an account set up with Pearson, it's going to ask you to set up an account. If you have not purchased a Mastering A&P access code, you can do so online through this link. So you won't be able to come into all of this, of course, until you do have that access code. Once you have the access code, you can set up your account and you'll be able to come in. So you should see something similar to this calendar when you come in. So you can see here on the 26th, your Intro to Mastering A&P assignment is due, and then on June the 4th, you have 3 other assignments. So again, this is the instructor view. It will look a little bit different. All right. Let me go back in here. I wanted to show you guys a couple of other things. In this study area, there are some really cool tools in here that you can use. You can use these for your lab content. You can use this for your lecture content. So in the study area, you can go into chapter by or study by textbook chapter. There are art labeling exercises, practice quizzes, animations, and videos. Some of these animations and interactive physiologies are amazing, especially the ones for the immune system. There's lab practice and lab tools. So there's a lot of things in here to help you. One thing I do caution students, though, when you are looking at these tools, remember they cover everything in the textbook because a lot of different colleges use these, right? So everything is in there. If you take a quiz or you do a labeling exercise or you do any of these exercises in here for study tools, be sure and look at what you miss if you don't do well. And make sure you're not focusing your study time on things that I'm not covering. If I'm not covering, I'm not testing on it, okay? So yes, these are wonderful study tools, but use them carefully and be sure to sort through and focus on the content that I'm going to test you on. All right, so that's your Mastering A&P. Here, of course, you have a link to take you directly to the e-text and directly to the study area once you have set up your access. In the Content and Exams folder, there are some videos here done by Dr. Chu that have some excellent tips in there as to how to learn to be an effective student. So study tips, note-taking, how to focus on the content. So time management skills, a lot of really good stuff in there. So your first unit, now you can see down here on these other units, this is in the instructor view, so you won't see these because I have adaptive release on them, which simply means they're not open to you guys until you get a little further into the content. I want you focusing first on Unit 1. So in Unit 1, we're going to cover the objectives as stated in our Unit 1A and Unit 1B. Again, objectives are big picture content areas. So it's not a study guide. You can't simply take a learning objective and sit down and write notes on that and cover all the content. Those are big picture topics. All right, so Unit 1, as I mentioned, is going to be broken into two sections. Unit 1A that will cover blood, the lymphatic system, and the immune systems. In Unit 1B, we will cover the cardiovascular system. So we'll cover more about the heart and blood pressure and ECGs and lots of really cool stuff. All right, so here if you open this folder, you have access to the PowerPoints that are going to accompany the lecture videos. So for instance, if you open blood, this is what you're going to see. So you have them 3 per page with a space to take notes beside it. So I recommend that you print these before you watch the lecture videos. That way you can take notes as you are watching those videos. You have one here for the lymph and immune system as well. So let's go back, and here you have a link for your Unit 1A lymph and immune videos. So there's your PowerPoints to accompany these videos. When you open this link, it's going to take you directly to YouTube, and here's your first set of videos, blood and cardiovascular. You can see here there are 6 videos, so you click that, and I'm going to stop myself from talking there. Here you have your 6 videos related to the chapter on blood. Okay, now back here, I should have just gone back to YouTube, sorry. There are 7 videos there on lymph and immune. So these lecture videos cover the content that we would cover in the classroom before I give you your first exam. So you watch these videos, you take notes. Watch them again and take fresh notes. Watch them as many times as you need to. The more times you process this information, the more likely you are to be successful with it. All right, so once you've watched those videos and you've studied and you've done your homework, you will be ready to come in. Sorry about that. You'll be ready to come in and take your exam. So you will access your exam here using the Respondus lockdown browser, or go into the testing center, and once you're in the testing center, they will enter a password for you. Okay, so this is telling me that gives you information about the test, and when you click begin, it's going to ask you to either enter a password or before you enter the exam. Okay, so you go back here. Before you enter this exam, you're going to open your Respondus lockdown browser. Then when you open Blackboard and go to the test, you will do the little browser checks. You'll scan your environment to show me that you don't have notes laying all over your desk. You're going to show me your ID so I know it's you. And once you do so, then you will begin your test. So the Respondus lockdown browser with webcam option will prompt you to do all this. So you don't have to remember, oh, I've got to make sure I show my ID. It's going to ask you to do each of these steps. And then once you do so, you will begin the exam, and then it will record you from that point on. Make sure you are in a quiet environment. You will get flagged for review if you have other people in the room with you, if you have the radio playing. So you can't have earbuds on. You can't be playing music or any type of recording. You can't have your book or your notes, because You're going to have to take your computer or your webcam and scan your entire environment, your desktop if you're working at a desk, and the floor, the ceiling, and the walls around you. If you are working on your bed, I need to see the entire surface of your bed and the floor around you, the walls and the ceiling. Okay, so you need to make sure that you show me that there is nothing in that area that you could use to help you with this exam. Now, anytime that you are taking the exam, you need to be focused on the screen because the webcam will also flag you if you look away from the computer screen. Make sure that your face is centered in the image, okay? So I need to see your entire face as you are testing as well. All right, I think we've covered pretty much everything. I do hope you guys are successful in this course. This is a very, very information-packed course. It can be difficult to handle the content in a regular semester, but you guys have signed up for a summer semester, so I know you're all going to be very responsible and that you've got to be great students, right? So let me know if I can help you in learning this content. If you have questions about anything, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I am your instructor, and I am here to help you if I can. I hope you all have a wonderful semester, and I look forward to hearing from you all.